It's in its 8th season in the US at the moment. That's got to be quite exciting to be part of something that's been going for so long.
It's quite amazing, and it's on many channels, and they have marathons when people watch countless NCIS. It's wonderful. It's such a pleasure to know that the show is being appreciated when there are so many people involved in it that work so hard to make it the success that it is.
And you've been in it right since the beginning as well.
Since the first shot, yes. It was a body hanging in a tree over the water, and for the first time I was looking at a body. I didn't know then what I know now. I've had 7 years of studying pathology, and I've been down to Washington. I've met with NCIS Director David Brandt and other NCIS directors. So it's been a wonderful, wonderful experience.
What's been the most interesting thing that you've learned, like with your research for the show since it started?
Oh, I think the most interesting thing is I knew nothing about pathology, and to work with a coroner in Los Angeles and do a lot of work with pathologists. Chris Rogers, who was the chief pathologist, and I did an autopsy of a young man who climbed up a pole to, I think, allegedly steal the copper wire, and it was the power line. And so we autopsied him to find out what actually killed him, which was a number of things, a series of events. So it was fascinating. I've also learned about the body and what can go wrong with it, so I can avoid that happening to myself.
Very useful, I imagine.
Very useful in that respect.
And what's been your favourite Ducky moment in the whole season so far?
Oh, I have several wonderful Ducky moments. We all go back to my left foot, when I had a leg with a tattoo on it of a Marine Corps Semper Fi. I was talking all about my early life when I travelled. I think my grandfather had sent me to Europe to go through all the various great art galleries of the world. I can't remember the exact hour, but I'm carrying this foot everywhere and going around the room and finally putting it down and studying it. And I think at the end Mark Harmon said, "Ducky, that's a right foot," because I was talking about left foot and stuff. Anyway, but there are many, many moments.
And given the longevity of the show, it must feel like on set it's a bit of a family now.
Oh, totally, totally. We are the warmest, closest, no egos, just a wonderful, warm bunch of people. And the crew we include in all of that, and particularly post-production. I think post-production nowadays is the difference between how it was when I was doing The Man from U.N.C.L.E. and now. I mean, they were wonderful. George Lair was the man who did it on The Man from U.N.C.L.E., and that was wonderful. But now they do it to an extraordinary degree. The inserts with all of the television screens and such like.
Yeah, is it quite strange working with like blue screens and all these strange like...
Well, we don't. You do this... Well, we've done it a couple of times. There was one where we were up on a high building and I came around the corner and I was admiring the view and it was just a blue screen. And then when I saw it, you have the whole of Washington laid out there. And once there was it wasn't blue screen, but there's the road with all the studios either side, and at the far end is the freeway. And I came on one show, and the Air Force One, the presidential plane, was parked on the other side of the wall. It's fascinating.
And with NCIS, the way that it's written, main characters, I don't know, in say Lost or The Sopranos, will get killed off quite quickly, whereas in NCIS you're quite secure with your job.
We've killed off a couple of leading characters because the script demanded it in one case and somebody else wanted to leave.
The legendary star of the NCIS, Mr. David McCallum, has died at the age of 90. He was a real scholar, an old school gentleman. Of course, the photography industry, best known for playing his role as Dr. Donald Ducky Mallard on that movie, which is really very, very good. I encourage you to look it up on various movie streaming platforms. So that movie, commonly known as NCIS. The legend passed on, like I've told you, at the age of 90, and he, according to a couple of reports that are coming in this exact moment in time, it's believed that he died peacefully at his home in New York as a result of natural causes. According to a statement that has been released and that is being circulated on various social media platforms, they say he was a very clean man. And of course, he was a really legendary and a man who everyone could learn a couple of lessons from. What I learned from all this, we as young people, we must learn a few things, big lessons from these old school gentlemen. like the late so David, because if you look at him, he was really cool, he was patient, and most important of all, he put family before himself and always looked forward to any chance of connecting with his grandchildren. According to reports still and the statement that was released, they said he was a true man who believed in Renaissance and he really loved science. The NCIS producers, Stephen Binder and others, actually came out together and also published and shared their memories their memories with David. And they said he was a true scholar, a very perfect gentleman. He always cracked jokes, a professional, and that's very important if you want to succeed in life. And of course, also CBS came out and said that they are deeply saddened by the passing of David, a great actor, an author, and a man who was really loved globally. So it's really very devastating losing such a legendary man. But of course, we can only celebrate his life. We share our condolences with the family, friends, the fans globally. All we can say in this exact moment in time is rest in power, the King, Mr. David McCallum.